Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Your presence reflects the strong commitment of civic engagement, and we truly value your interest in the work and progress of our city. As a reminder, this is a formal meeting of the Wilmer City Council. We ask that everyone in the audience maintains respect and decor throughout the proceedings. Disruptions, outbursts, or inappropriate language will not be permitted. An individual may be asked to leave or be removed by the Sergeant of Arms if necessary. Again, thank you for being here and for your supporting the continuous progress of our city. At this time, I would like to ask Pastor Harris to do invocation, and I will ask Sergio Compost to do the pledge.
All right, let us pray. Father, we thank you for another day, God. We thank you for this opportunity, God, to come together as a city and make plans for your city that you have put together, God. Father, I come today lifting up these leaders on today, the mayor, all the council members, God, the city manager, God. I come praying, Father God, that you would just crown them with wisdom, God. That, Father, you would give them the grace to see this opportunity as an opportunity to serve, God. As an opportunity to put the citizens of Wilmer in the best positions possible. And, Father, I even pray for the citizens of Wilmer, that, God, that we would unify, that we would work with the city council, with the mayor, God, to bring the best things possible for this city, God. Lord, I just thank you for the grace and mercy and your covering over this city, God, for protecting this city. And Lord, I pray that every agenda, God, everything that's on the agenda today, God, that Father God, it will be for your glory. It will be for the betterment of this city, God. And Lord, I just speak peace over this meeting. And God, I thank you in advance, God, for a successful meeting, God. We thank you for the love that's in this city. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Whoa. Oh, it's over here now. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now move on to our presentation items. Wait a minute. The citizens that want to speak. Is that later?
Yes.
Okay. We will now move on to our presentation items. I'll turn it over to the City Secretary, Ms. Downs, to bring this portion of the agenda.
All right, we are now going to do our proclamations, and our first proclamation is recognizing the week of May 4th through 10th as Small Business Week. Councilmember Jacobs is going to present that, and we have German Mora and Senior and Junior. Would y'all like to come up? They are with, forgive me, say it for me. La Sonarita Palator. You guys okay? All right. Okay, y'all just stand to the side right here, and you can hold this.
Good evening. Whereas small businesses are the backbone of the American economy, representing 99% of all U.S. businesses and employing nearly half of the nation's workforce. And whereas in Texas, over 3 million small businesses contribute significantly to the state's economic vitality and innovation. And whereas the City of Wilmer recognizes the invaluable contributions of its local small businesses to the community's prosperity, its character, and quality of life. And whereas National Small Business Week, established in 1963, honors the achievements and dedication of small business owners and entrepreneurs across the United States. And whereas the U.S. Small Business Administration will observe National Small Business Week from May 4th through the 10th of 2025, celebrating the resilience and contributions of small business nationwide. And whereas the City of Wilmer is committed to fostering a supportive environment for small businesses through local incentives, resources, and community engagement. Now therefore I, Councilmember Laura Jacobs, on behalf of Sheila Petta, the Mayor of the City of Wilmer, and the City Council of the City of Wilmer, Texas, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th through the 10th, 2025 as National Small Business Week in the City of Wilmer, and encourage all citizens to support local small businesses and entrepreneurs, recognizing their critical role in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Thank you.
And they would like to say something. You can come up and say a couple words and then we'll get your picture.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to say, y'all can feel free to come by. We're open 7 days a week from 11 to 9. This is our second year in business, and we're proud to say it's going pretty good. Thanks to God. We're right here next to the Dollar General, 414 East Beltline Road. We're open 7 days a week, except on Wednesday we open at 3 p.m. Okay, y'all can feel free to come. We have a great variety of products. Thank you.
Do you want the rest of the council? Kristen? Do y'all want to stand up in the picture? Or?
Let's go get to the middle.
All right, thank y'all so much. All right, our next proclamation is recognizing the week of May 4th through 10th, 2025 as Drinking Water Week, and we will have Councilmember Slough present this proclamation, and accepting it will be Lupe and the Public Works Department. Come on up. Y'all want to line up right here. And Lupe got a fresh haircut just for tonight, guys.
He did.
Well, I got a crowd down there.
Y'all can get on both sides of her if you want.
Some come over here or whatever. Whatever. Drinking Water Week in the City of Wilmer, and encourage all citizens to join the commemorating the Public Works Department employees of the City of Wilmer, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered and dedicated service to our community, and in so doing have established for themselves an invaluable and enduring reputation for preserving health, safety, and well-being of all citizens. Whereas water is our most valuable natural source, and whereas drinking water serves a vital role in daily life, serving an essential purpose in health, hydration, and hygiene needs for the quality of life our citizens enjoy. And whereas tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy, and whereas the hard work performed by the entire water sector, designing capital projects, operations, ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water or a member of a pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on the transport high-quality drinking water from its source to consumers' taps, and whereas the corona pandemic had shone a light on the importance of drinking water for health, hydration, hygiene needs, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which current and future generations depend, and whereas the citizens of our city are called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water and familiarizing themselves with it. Now therefore, I, Council Member Phyllis Slough, on behalf of Sheila Petta, Mayor of the City of Wilmer, and the City Council of the City of Wilmer, Texas, do hereby proclaim the week of May the 4th through the 10th, 2025 as Drinking Water Week.
We'll just do a picture. You want to?
Oh, yeah, okay,
We'll get a picture.
okay, I'll get it.
Squeeze in, guys.
We're hid from all.
Come on, and all our counts. There we go.
Okay, I might step on one of y'all's.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, our next proclamation, do I have Chief Kemp here? There you are, I didn't see you. I don't know how I missed you. Okay, we are going to recognize May 11th through 17th as National Police Week, and we have council members still presenting that proclamation. So can I get all of our wonderful officers up here with Chief Kemp? Who wants to hold it? I voted for you.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. I'm here to read the proclamation for National Police Week. Chief, whereas our police officers of the Wilmer Police Department stand watch over our citizens, selflessly risking their lives to protect individuals, families, neighborhoods, and property against crime, and whereas it is important that all citizens recognize the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of local law enforcement agencies. And whereas the Wilmer Police Department, past and present, by their faithful and loyal devotion to duty, have rendered dedicated service to the community. And whereas we honor the heroism of all law enforcement officers, especially those who have given their lives in the line of duty so that others might live. And we ask for God's blessing on the families and friends they left behind. And whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff in remembrance. And whereas across the nation, National Police Week is observed with ceremonies and tributes to the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers who protect and serve our communities daily. Now, therefore, I, Councilmember Jeff Steele, on behalf of Mayor Sheila Petta and the City Council of the City of Wilmer, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025 as National Police Week in the City of Wilmer, and call upon all citizens to express their deep appreciation for the men and women of law enforcement who guard and protect us, and to join us as we honor the standing and the fallen. Chief, say a word.
I guess tell you how much of an honor that is going into our National Police Week, and it's all because of these men and women right here that I get up every morning. Proud to have them on my team and me be on their team.
Thank you, each one of you, for your service. We're gonna have a picture up front.
Okay, can we all gather for Megan and I to get some beautiful pictures of y'all? Thank you. Thank y'all. All right, our next proclamation is going to be recognizing the week of May 18th through the 24th as National Public Works Week, and Mayor Pro Tem Nealon will be presenting this proclamation. Lupe, Public Works, come on down again.
Double duty.
Yeah. Come on, guys. I'm proud of all of you.
National Public Works Week. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Wilmer. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for all of our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the city of Wilmer to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association, be it now. Therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem Linda Diane Nealon, on behalf of the Mayor and the Wilmer City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week in the city of Wilmer, and encourage all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designated to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions that they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. Thank you, guys.
Good picture. Perfect, thank y'all. All right, so next we're going to do a recognition of Miss Kimberly Hall, who is one of our dispatchers. So I'm going to ask Chief Kemp to come up here and Miss Mayor Sheila Petta to come up here also. We're going to have you speak.
Absolutely. Kim Hall has been with the city of Wilmer as a telecommunicator for 15 years. At least 3 or 4 of those years she actually put in effort. I absolutely jest. She is a telecommunicator extraordinaire. Not only has she served faithfully for the last 15, actually 16 years with the city of Wilmer, she had a after about a year, she had a moment where she thought maybe there was grass was green on the other side. About 10 months later, she missed me, and she has spent the last 15 years, again, just doing an amazing job. She is so consistent. She's made so many friends within the community over a phone, and she's a friend to all of the staff, the police department officers. She is dearly loved. She started as all telecommunicators does with a temporary telecommunicator license. She eventually got her permanent, basic, and then intermediate, and then advanced. And she stands here today having achieved a master's telecommunicators license through the Texas Commission. She actually achieved that 8 years ago next month. Next month, 1 year ago, she went to the North Texas Regional Police Academy, and she became certified as a trainer of other telecommunicators. So she is now one of our prestigious trainers of new telecommunicators who come in. So couldn't do it without her.
There you go, Tim.
We love her, and we appreciate her tremendously and dearly. Love you too. Congratulations. Megan's my administrative assistant, who, my gosh, what a wonderful job. I watched the video of the council meeting while I was out of town. Love her tremendously. She makes everything go around for me, and she's also our communications supervisor. She's going to present the bars. If you already have some service bars and in the mayor.
Oh, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Very proud.
Council, y'all want to stand up in the back? All right. Thank you so much.
Ms. Downs, do we have anyone signed up?
For citizen comments?
Yes, ma'am.
We have James Wagner, if you'd like to come to the front. And I believe he would like Chief Gifford to come up here with him.
Sir, please give your name and your address. Yes, sir.
The name is James Wagner. I live at 301 First Street in the apartments over here. 157. Just go ahead and do the
Yeah,
deal.
you have 3 minutes.
On April 10th, I had a heart attack. I never thought I would have one, but I sure did. And I knew I had to call Wilmer Fire Department, and they came, and I was praying, and I was scared to death. But they came and they stabilized me, and they took me to Methodist Charlton and put 3 stents in. If you eat pork skins the way I did, back off on it, because I ate way too many. I think that's a factor. But I want to thank you. The EMTs could not have been better. They were just superlative. The room was full of them, and here I am. They wheeled me out and everything. It was grace of God, and thank you for them. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much.
Would you like to take a picture with our fire department?
Sure,
And
sure,
can I put you on social media later?
Just what?
Can I put you on social media later?
Sure, if you want.
Miss Angelica, are you here? Can you do that picture for me, please? Thank you.
These are the guys?
See your deal better.
Let them have their own.
There you go, guys.
Thank you, guys. Now,
If I may, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna still eat pork skins.
and he'll eat them.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, sir. We will now move on to the, we've already done that. Turn it over to you.
Yes. Our consent agenda, item 6, consider approval of minutes for the April 17, 2025 regular city council meeting. Item 7, discuss and consider approving resolution R2025-0501A, authorizing the city of Wilmer to submit an application for financial assistance to the Texas Water Development Board through its Clean Water State Revolving Fund to fund the cost of the outfall force main emergency replacement program, an amount not to exceed $500,000 million. I think I said that all wrong. $5,500,000.
Council, may I get a motion?
Is this the only thing on the consent?
Uh-huh.
Move to approve.
May I get a second?
Second.
Actually, I have a question on this. There was the,
It's a consent agenda.
I know it's
You want
consent.
to
but there-
pull it? You want to pull it?
Pull it, yeah.
Okay. Well, I will rescind my motion. If Mayor Campos will rescind his second, then we can pull item 7 for discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe Councilmember Slaw has the floor now.
Yes.
Okay, but I think the others.
Ms. Slough?
Item 7 on, well, that's the
Put your
minutes.
mic down, please.
Okay. On that agenda, it was, it showed to have, on that agenda, on item 9, the financials, and there was nothing there, so.
This shouldn't be on there. We're just now voting on it.
We're voting on the consent.
But it
agenda.
was, but there wasn't nothing there presented.
It shouldn't have been.
It was on that agenda that we're voting on right now.
No. No, ma'am.
Item 7, Councilmember.
Okay. Item 9.
Item 7.
Item 7, okay, I'm looking at all of these numbers on here.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
two different projects.
Yeah, on the projects, but this was over the financials. It showed that that was to be on that council, and there wasn't nothing on that.
This shouldn't be on financial at this time.
Okay.
Well, I think she's referring to the fact that last time they delayed it because they weren't ready.
No, ma'am. This is
That's what
something
she's-
completely different.
This is the minutes that we're voting on right now, wasn't it? The previous minutes?
No, the minutes have already been taken care of.
The minutes for, the minutes, so it's agenda number 6.
It's number 6, not number 7. So you're asking something was in error on the minutes for the financials?
That was where we were supposed to have had the financials.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay. And there was, so what we put on there, that there was no action taken at
Right.
that time?
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No action taken, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't see that.
May I ask?
Okay.
Yes.
As a follow-up to the last meeting where we talked about, we knew this repair job was going to be pretty expensive. So this is just for the grant. This is not the city's portion that we may have to pay in addition to the grant. Is that correct?
No, what this is we're hoping that this will, between the earmarks that we have and the tax notes that were issued, this amount will complete the construction. Within the staff report, it states that they are estimating the project cost to be $5,023,610. The consultants are asking for $5.5 million. I'm looking at our consultant in the audience, which is Tara Stewart with RJN. And
That includes a 10% contingency.
yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. So we're hoping with that cushion that that will cover the entire cost, because this happened 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We're trying to get to today's dollars. And so, you know, things escalate. Of course, we have tariffs now. And so we are hoping that just based on this estimate that we get to that amount. So we think, but this is to, the council has to approve applying for the grant through the
Right.
state.
Well, I remember you stating that Representative Crockett's, Congresswoman Crockett's office had pledged some money of support, and that how much was our actual tax bond that we would be liable for?
I'd have to look that up, but that portion will cover the design. So I believe you're on council when they did, Freeze and Nichols did a report exploring all of the different options that we had to land on the OPCC. And, I'm sorry, under the HDD method, which is the horizontal direction drilling. And so we paid for the design portion out of that money, the tax note money, because the EPA will not pay. So for those two earmarks that are through EPA, they will not pay for design. So that had to come from the city, but I certainly can get that amount for you.
Do you remember, was it like 300 and something thousand? 300 and something thousand, if I recall?
We'll confirm.
Okay.
We'll confirm.
Thank
I don't
you.
wanna-
Any other remarks?
I'd just make a comment, this is for a grant for the water board.
Right.
This is, you know, this is gonna be additional monies on top of any earmarks that are unfunded mandates right now from the Congresswoman's office. We don't know we haven't seen the budget yet. We don't know how much money is gonna be sent to us. So this is gonna take care through the Texas Water Board. If we are permitted to receive a grant, it's an application process. It's not monies. It's just to make sure everyone was aware of that.
Thank you, sir. May I get a motion?
I have a question, if it's not too late on this. This tax note, that's,
We approved that last week.
That's been, it's probably been 2-3 years ago, yeah. It was already approved by the council.
oh, it had already been approved
Yes,
back then
right.
to put this on this water, this sewer line?
That was before we were invited to receive this grant. So we were just invited to receive, we have to be invited by the Texas
Okay.
Water Development.
But on a grant, you, it's like, we pay for it up front. Are we reimbursed with this grant money, or as the work goes
So
along?
it's a forgivable loan, but we don't necessarily know how much they're going to forgive. But we have to apply for it up front, and then if there are additional monies from the state, they can forgive up to a certain amount.
Right.
And we don't know until they get their budget together in this legislative session. So it could, we are one, because we're small, do we have a percentage of what that forgivable part is?
Well,
Please come up and introduce yourself.
usually it's 70-30. But we're just now in the process of submitting to the Water Development Board, and we cannot speak for them. So we'll have to let them look at the city's application and then make a determination and let us know.
Thank you.
Sir, for the record, can you go ahead and state your name?
My name is Tara Stewart. I'm with RJN Group.
Could you give your address, sir?
14755 Preston Road, Dallas, Texas.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So this is just applying for the money?
Yeah,
There's
the
no-
item before you today is just the council giving authorization to make the request, to make the application to the Water Development Board, and then to designate the city's representative to negotiate or to coordinate with the state, which in this case is your city administrator, Rona Stringfellow. So that's the only action that's being taken tonight before you for approval.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
May I get a motion?
And just to provide some more color, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
back in 2008, when we had such water problems in the city, I was invited to go to Austin and apply down and present the case of Wilmer to the Texas Water Development Board. And I, along with the engineer, went down and we faced a board of about 6 people. And they asked all kinds of questions. And at the end of the meeting, which was about an hour long, they said, "You qualify," and we asked for you to submit your application. I said, "Man, great! I thought I was on cloud 9. We was going to have some issues with the water solved for us." They said, as underserved as your community is, we only have X amount of dollars. And you're like number 27 on the list. There are 26 more communities that are more deserving of the money than you are, even though we were in that bad of shape.
Yep.
So, once again, this is an application process.
That does not mean we will do
Does
it.
not
Yeah, I understand.
mean, does not mean that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, may I get a motion?
It's my same motion, Mayor. I move to approve.
And I second.
Thank you both. Please vote.
Yes.
Ms. Phyllis?
Yes, if it's just an application.
Yes.
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 It passes 5-0.
Okay, action item number 8, discuss and consider extending the terms of board and commission and committee members with terms expiring on May 31st, 2025 until September 30th, 2025. With the recent transition in the city secretary's office, it has come to my attention that several board and commission appointments are scheduled to expire on May 31st, 2025. Due to the limited time since stepping into this role, I have not yet had the opportunity to properly advertise for vacancies or fully evaluate the current structure and activity of each board. Additionally, I've been made aware that some boards have struggled to meet due to a lack of quorum, which further emphasizes the need to reassess participation and engagement. In accordance with Ordinance 2023-0504A, Section 2.06, members whose terms expire may continue to serve in an interim capacity until a reappointment or replacement is made. Therefore, I'm formally requesting to extend the current terms to expire on May 31st through September 30th to provide the necessary time to advertise for positions, review board attendance and effectiveness, evaluate the overall board structure, coordinate interviews with city council, and prepare a proposal for the creation of the Keep Wilmer Beautiful Board.
Any questions?
I have one. How long does it take to advertise? It's a month in between there and then the council meeting afterwards and whatever, so.
Yes, I would like to start advertising, since I'll be here all day on Friday, getting all the advertising materials together and then start on social media. So I would advertise for a month and then coordinate with y'all, get the applications, review the applications, and then coordinate a time with y'all to do the interviews for placement on the boards. So usually that placement will take place in around July or August.
Wow.
This is my main concern is it's always in May so that the newly elected council members may have their representatives or may have a decision, you know, a say in who's appointed into city boards. And this is an additional 4 months past the deadline. So June, July, August, September. And so then we would not even begin selecting them until like October. So that seems to be.
She just gave you the schedule.
No, but y'all would be selecting them in July, August for their terms to start on 10/1. Usually a lot of other cities, what they do is that's their schedule for when they appoint, because also it can get very political in May. And not only that, we're working with the election schedule, so it's hard for council to get together with the special meetings and the canvassing and all that on top of board and commissions. So the newly elected officials will still be selecting the members. It will just give them more time to get familiarized with more of the board process, and then to have more one-on-one time in the meetings to interview them. Because usually if it's a new council member, they need a little bit more information from the people.
It still seems like it's a long time for me. That, you know, if a new person joins the council in mid-May, and then, you know, they may have, you know, their person or somebody that they really would like to have. Right now, we are recruiting. It's been hard to get people to serve on the boards. And understanding that, but, you know,
Exactly.
we've advertised in the past, and it's usually just the same people who have a commitment to serve. And I will be honest, I was sick at the last Parks Board meeting, so I did not attend. But,
and that's one of the other points, though. It's usually the same people who serve, and so we want to look at bringing them, but also bringing additionals, because we haven't, since I've been here, we haven't made quorums. We didn't make quorum today for the EDC board. So, yes, it could be a long time, but if you look at it, we also have the council retreat coming up. We have the drone and fireworks show coming up. We have all these events coming up too. And we're canceling meetings, so that's why I'm extending it to look at those boards, because we might need to reduce the number of members to make quorum for those boards. And that's what I want to present to y'all also, is that alternative.
And if you'll recall, this past October was the first time that you all made appointments and filled all the boards up.
Right.
So you all made appointments in October. We've never been able to actually appoint boards. And in fact, I can't remember which council member it was, but you all had actually redirected staff to go and re-advertise because there were not enough applicants. And so it ended up being October anyway, because we re-advertised twice. The first time, council did not feel as if there were enough applicants, and then the second time was when you all were able to fill those board positions. So this is the first time in a 5-year period since I've been here that all those boards were actually filled.
But they don't come to the meetings.
Based on that, based on those appointments.
Right. Yes.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Councilmember Jacobs in that it was presented to us that the council would be involved in choosing the members for this board. And by pushing it back, the first year we were seated here, we didn't even get the opportunity to do that. And like Ms. Rona said, last October was the first time. And now then, here we are. You know, I understand that this is going to be a year if you do that, but I would like to see us get back on track afterward and just make sure that we address it at the time that we're supposed to.
Oh, exactly, and y'all will be picking your appointments. I will not be, but yes.
Yeah. May I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, before I make a motion, can I have one more item of discussion?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Am I correct to assume that the status quo, if there are no appointments, the same board members carry on until
Yes, sir.
they're officially replaced?
Right.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm hearing from the city secretary's office is that with her filling in the new position as city secretary of the city of Wilmer, with her getting organized for the election with about a 2-month lead time, she doesn't feel comfortable putting together materials to start the process of allow appointments at the end of May. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And I can certainly understand that. But on the other hand, if, say, and I understand that you feel that the other cities that you've worked for, appointments usually come in the fall, in October, after the festivities of summer, after the elections, blah, blah, all the duties that are put upon you during that time, May to August. You feel comfortable having the city move appointments to October?
It would be, the process would continue all summer long, accepting applications, advertising.
Right.
Their appointments would go into effect 10/1 as a fiscal calendar year.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that would fit with our fiscal year period.
Yes, sir.
September 31st is the last of the fiscal year.
Yes, sir.
So that would put you on the city secretary's office on a regular schedule.
Exactly. And then I'm also looking at, in April and May, having a board and commission banquet, so the council that did appoint them are there to celebrate them and honor them.
So appointments would be made in September.
They would be made in August, and we would announce them either at the first or second meeting in August. And then I would have their term start on 10/1. So the boards would finish their board until September 30th. And on 10/1 will be the new board members joining. That gives me time, September, to swear them, get their oath of office, get all of that, their paperwork, their introductions, go over open meetings, Public Information Act.
And with that being said, Mayor, I can certainly understand the process that way.
Yes.
And I certainly want to support our city secretary if that feels like she would be more proficient in her position to have a schedule such as that.
Thank you, sir.
So with that being said, if you're still calling for a motion, I'm going to move to approve.
Thank you.
Well, if I can piggyback on Mayor Pro Tem Nealon's comment, then, it might be to put into our council calendar that this happens every October 1
Yes.
in the future, so that it's not tied to the new council members election, because I think that's what's been expected in the community.
Right.
So,
And that's what I want to look at, is your board and commission's policy. That way it's stated there, so if I'm not here next year or whatever, the next city secretary has to follow by those guidelines, and y'all approve it. And you have the same rules for each board to do consistency around for every board that y'all have.
I can support that.
May I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Vote, please.
Yes.
No, I'm not good with it.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It is 4-1, and it
But
passes.
I do have one more question. Didn't we already have that policy in force?
You do, but that's why I want to look at the policy and make sure that every board is consistent when it comes to attendance. And that's where I come in with y'all, and I'll present to y'all the attendance, the new schedule, if y'all agree with it. That way we can all go, because it hasn't, I don't think it's been updated, but that's what I'm researching now.
And plus, you're creating a new board.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Number 9.
Discuss and consider approving a resolution approving the terms and conditions of a professional service contract with Breeze and Nichols to provide professional services to lead copper rural revision compliance within the city of Wilmer not to exceed $145,653.
Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency introduced the LCRR on January 15, 2021, establishing new standards to eliminate harmful levels of lead and copper from drinking water. The LCRR was given an effective date of December 16, 2021, with a compliance date of October 16, 2024. Subsequently, the EPA unveiled a final section of the regulation, the Lead and Copper Rule Improvements, designed to clarify and strengthen specific components of the LCRR. The LCRI finalized on October 8, 2023, and it allows for a delayed compliance date on several items of the LCRR. Still, it upholds the requirement to submit an initial inventory and commence related annual public communications in October of '24. So if you'll recall, our Director of Public Works gave a presentation about an inventory. There were several members of the community that called, members of council, and called our office and said, what is this? What does this mean? Do I have lead, copper line? We were gathering information. We took the information that we knew based on our records, water department, and then for those that we could not find, we had to send it to the customer to gather more information on when their house was built and if they fell within a year that we would have to meet this requirement. So under EPA's new proposal, as well as existing rules, water systems must comply with the following 2021 LCRR requirements beginning October 16, 2024. This proposal is a continuation of the phased approach recommended by Breeze and Nichols to support the city of Wilmer with preparation for lead and copper rule revisions. In 2024, Breeze and Nichols completed the LCRR compliance program, which provided an initial service line inventory, compliance schedule, and planning level budget for future phases. This phase that we're presenting this evening focuses on incorporating the final section of the regulation, the lead and copper rule improvements, which were finalized on October 8, 2024. This phase is for preparing the compliance items required from the October, it's a whole bunch of numbers, October 2027 LCRI compliance date, which is what they're saying now is the final compliance date. The purpose of this item is to approve the professional services agreement for the next phase of compliance. Breeze and Nichols is the consultant that will continue with the next phase. The cost of the study, as well as this phase, was unfunded, as we explained to council, but would be paid out of the water wastewater fund. In your packet is the resolution for the cost of $145,653, as well as the agreement. This item has been approved and reviewed as to form by the city attorney. In the amendment number 1, the $43,997 was the amount that the consultant charged for the initial evaluation, and then The difference is 145,653. If you'll notice on Alfreys and Nichols contracts, they added up so that they are transparent about the amount of funding that they have charged the city for various projects. So that is why you have both of those numbers in the agreement. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Approximately how many homes did we find that had lead pipe?
Do you have that number? I'm going to invite Lupe.
And I'm asking just for an approximation.
Come on up.
Mayor, Council. We haven't really found any yet, but there is unknown, which are unknown is we don't know what type of line they are. That's what the...
Do you have a number? What y'all found the...
The unknown was like 600 is what we got down to. Through all the records and everything else, we got down to 600 unknowns that we don't know what type of line is underground.
Well, I know the city administrator and I had a conversation, I'm trying to rake my mind of when I was a little kid, about when some areas of the town were being developed, which was the main area that y'all had no unknowns about. I don't want to say it in public, but, so that's still an unknown?
Yes, right now it is.
So the Dallas County didn't have a record of when they were actually built, or?
We went through all the records that we had and what we could get to see what we could find out and do our research on. And them are the numbers that we came up with.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry. Olivia Muniz, Public Works.
I know who you are.
And what's your address?
Mine?
128.
Yeah, 128 North Outside.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I was assuming that this was the eradication of lead pipes was funded through the IRA. Is that not correct?
What made you tell me what that acronym is?
The IRA.
The Inflation Reduction Act.
I'm sorry.
The Inflation Reduction Act.
No, sir. We didn't get that.
It wasn't the AA, whatever the acronym was, funding. I would have nearly, I could have nearly remember that it was funded through the federal program. They were paying for it.
So I think what you are recalling, we were invited to, similar to the TWDB grant, to apply for funding, but at that particular time, we didn't even have that initial inventory. And so they had invited us to apply for funding, and we did not believe it was prudent to ask for money when we didn't know how many we would actually be having to mitigate. And so that came out of city funds, fund balance. I can go back and look at the minutes from the meeting if you tell us what you recall.
No, I hear what you say.
Yes, sir.
I hear what you say.
Yes, sir. We were invited initially, and we just did not think that was wise to ask for money, and we didn't have a good idea of what needed to be mitigated, and so we spoke with other peer cities. We are on a call with other cities that are asking some of the same questions, that are concerned about what we would have to mitigate and have to deal with the same unfunded mandate.
Well, how does the federal government demand small cities to eradicate initial problems that, evidently have been fine for 60 years?
Ms. Rhonda? Isn't this what they have to do across the whole United States?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But how does the federal, I mean, have we talked to our congressman about that? We need to do that when we go to Washington. We need to talk to Ted Cruz. That's the issues that we
Right.
need, that's the issues we bring up when we talk one-on-one with our senators. Why are you forcing unmandated services on a city that you don't want to fund? So that's one of the things we need to make contact with.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rhonda, could I ask you a question? You said we were invited to apply and we decided not to, and is this now, we're making a study so that we will know whether or not to apply?
So if there's 600 unknowns, and so until we know if they are or are not lead and copper lines, we won't have an estimate of what the cost would be to repair it. So out of those 600, it could be that there are 10 that need repair. And so then we would know what that number is.
Right.
We had no idea prior to doing the inventory. So
Right, I'm just trying to determine if we lost our chance there.
we didn't. No, they said that we would have a future opportunity. Many cities decided to pass on it for that same reason. We were all on a call, and I mean, we're all bringing up the same issue, that one is unfunded. We don't know what the amount is. We appreciate the invitation, but we don't think it's a prudent use of taxpayer dollars to ask for a number that we have no idea, you know, what that looks like for the city.
Madam Mayor?
Yes,
If
sir.
I may, if do you have any other questions?
Is there any other questions?
Did you have any other questions? That just makes me think more. That just makes me think more, and just, you know, why we need to understand why unfunded mandates are put on the city. I'm questioning 600 unknowns. How's it 600? We don't have 600 main lines in here in the city. How's it 600?
So currently, we have about,
If we're talking about 600 users, that's a different
Homes.
story.
600
that's what
homes.
we're talking
Well,
about.
we're not responsible for the curb to the home.
Under
It's
this, we are.
interesting that you say that. They are suggesting,
Suggesting is one thing,
They-
madam.
yeah, they are suggesting that we are responsible from the curb back to the front facade of
We-
the home.
The city did not put the service lines in.
We said those are concerns that we brought up and many cities brought up, because then that would cause a liability for the city. And so if we have been, as a practice, is the city's portion of it, and then from the back of curb is the homeowner's
Homeowners.
responsibility.
That's exactly right.
Then to violate the rule that we have all practiced these number of years would be contrary and would cause a significant liability to we're just speaking for our city, but many other cities were speaking in the same manner, saying that, but that is what they are, the folks that on the federal level are saying, that the city would be responsible now for.
So what do you, so customary practice in the city of Wilmer is to provide service lines directly to the house?
No, sir.
What did I misunderstand you to say?
It's the federal government that is requiring us that should we have to make that repair, that's where the city would be responsible.
And it's unfunded.
And it's unfunded.
Once again, that's why we go to Washington to voice these concerns, because, I mean, I think the city should buy me a brand new car next year. That's the same scenario, you know? You know, I don't think my car is safe enough to drive around town. It doesn't have the, you know, it's a 2005 car. So it's not have the safety features that a brand new car has. So therefore, I think my life's in jeopardy and my for injurious results.
Ms. Rona.
Madam Counselor, Mr. Counselor, would you agree with that analogy?
Yeah, as long as I get to ride in your new car.
Okay. All right.
And if you think of how many homes were built before 1982 in our town, I'm sure that in the house itself is going to have lead piping.
But that's their
I
responsibility.
understand that, but if we put in the new PVC and everything's to the home that gets to their house, it's still going to have lead in it. And it all's changed in 1982. And so if you think of how many homes in our city were built before 1982,
I didn't follow that train of thought. How does it still have lead if you're replacing PVC?
Well, I'm saying in the house, like my parents' old home that got torn down.
Yeah.
I'm sure the pipes that were in it were not up to code that would be expected.
At the time.
At the time it was. And
Right.
so at the time that these homes were built in the certain community that we're talking about, you know, that was normal practice to put this type of piping. And I agree with everything you've said. And you know, the liability of tearing somebody's yard up and having them complain, they're tearing up my yard and they've done all this. And I mean, we're going to hear it.
Yep.
If it happens, we will hear it. I don't agree with it,
But we
talked about that once before, and
I'm saying $750,000 expenditure on our water fund, that enterprise fund, that can't sustain that kind of a charge.
and it could be more than that. It could be less, or it could be more.
True.
So how do we solve the funding for that, Madam Administrator?
So this study is to figure out the 600 unknowns. Then we will bring that back to council and bring back a solution. Hopefully there will be some solution at that point as to what that looks like for mitigation, and we will bring it back to council. But that's what this next phase is to identify what those unknowns are, which basically means we probably have to go do some digging.
Right.
And so, does that mean tearing up streets, because that area has sidewalks?
No, they do cameras. They do cameras.
They'll do cameras?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll probably do a hold harmless agreement if we enter some of the properties. So we'll work with the city attorney on a hold harmless agreement and, you know, all the things that we would do to further investigate.
Did I mention this is exactly the reasons that we go to Washington to talk to our senators about? These problems just like this. Unfunded mandates that put undue pressure on a small city's budget, especially on the enterprise fund.
You should get a car for that.
A new car.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, sir.
Thanks for appeasing me.
Any other questions?
I got one. So how are they gonna do the study? Are they gonna go and bust everybody's yards up
No.
and stuff? So
No.
how's that done?
They would have to go and talk with the homeowner, and we would have them to fill out a hold harmless agreement. If the homeowner refuses, I'm sure we could camera the lines. There are other
If I may, you know,
mechanisms.
a lot of these people already redid their houses and their plumbing, so, you know, how y'all gonna,
It
that's what
would
I'm
be the
saying.
part in the yard, so from
It's
the
just-
back of curb to the front facade of the house. So they could, typically can get it from just that first part that's behind the meter.
We can actually get it from.
Come up
Come
to the
on
podium,
up.
please. I
State your
still,
name and address to the record.
yeah.
Louis Muniz, Superintendent, Mayor.
I'm still on a rant right now, Luffy, so be careful.
I know. We can usually do the testing the way we were talking about, and me and Wayne, is we can do the testing around the meter box. We actually have a new piece of equipment that we purchase which is a little vac trailer, and we can actually use the pressure of the water to make just a small little hole down to the service line. on
Like a
both
jetter,
sides.
like a jetter.
Yes. And we can suck up the dirt and we can test the lines there instead going all the way into their property.
Oh,
or
just,
anything.
they're at the tie-in of the
Yes,
meter.
on both sides of the meter, so we,
Can't you
On,
just
on
see
the,
if
on
it's-
the, on the, on the
if
service
it's there
side.
to steal just by covering it up and looking at the pipe?
well, on that case, a lot of people will tie in new PVC and all that to the meter,
Yeah,
but on the back side of it, still have an unknown line.
Look,
On
I
it.
understand that, but y'all got an inspector that inspects this when y'all go dig a hole, don't y'all? And then,
Well, these are actually the service lines that we're testing. It's basically just the service lines going to the house is what we'll be
from
testing
the
on
meter
it.
to the house.
Yes, well, it'll be both sides. It'll be from our side to
You gotta
the
remember,
connection.
we've already had smart meters rebuilt, replaced
yes.
on all city. And I think if they would have been in the lead pipe, somebody would have discovered it there.
Well, most meters were on meter risers. So how it goes is the connections come down to the bottom, they tie on, and then they go up on a meter riser, and that's where the meter is. And a lot of the times, the service line is a little bit further down than what we can see. And
You're saying all areas of Wilmer have that?
a majority of them have them in the older sections, on the older sections.
That makes sense to me.
Right, right.
So,
Any-
yeah.
This equipment that you're speaking about, is that something that your department is doing?
We're getting kind of a game plan together to see if our water department can, get out there and do it with all of our other scheduled jobs and all that we have.
Okay, you're trying to decide whether the water department can do it in opposed to having an outside study?
That's only a small part of it. They would like to do it in-house to save the city money. They are always
I'm thinking that money would
seeking-
go a long way toward
Yeah.
rectifying the problem.
Instead of,
Yes.
this,
Yes.
for a study.
But they can't do it all because then if they get tied up on the job and because we have significant deadlines, we want to stay on the schedule with the federal government. And so as much as they can do, because if they are able to get in there and see some of it when there are repairs or there are other issues with the water lines, they like to have their eyes on it. But a portion of it is, I think we put in there that they could potentially do it, but if we find the time to be able to do it, then that would be less money that we would spend out of this contract. So we just wouldn't spend the money. But it does include, if we are not able to do it, that the consultants can do it. They want to do it, trust me, they would like to, and just because the city is growing and they're being called out more often, it
Yeah,
just,
we are.
it's getting difficult.
Any other questions?
You escaped my rant.
I'm happy this time.
Thank you, Lupe.
Thank you, sir. Okay, may I get a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the freeze and nickel contract.
May I get a second?
A second.
Thank you, both.
And I'll be writing Senator Cruz's and Representative Crockett's office about this.
Right. May I have a vote?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 4-0, it passes.
It's 4-1.
I mean 4-1. I put down 4-1.
Item 10, discuss and consider a recommendation to the City Council for a final plat SDC DFW 8 located at the southwest corner of Sunrise Road and Beltline Road. The subject property consists of 4 lots on approximately 7.280 acres and is situated in the Major W. Spencer Survey, abstract number 1287, City of Wilmer, Dallas County, Texas, and generally addressed as 300 and 400 Sunrise Road, case number FT-25-01.
Good evening, council members. My name is Laura Lee Gunn, 20201 Main. I am working with the City of Wilmer for third-party plan review. Just a little background on the subject property. It is currently vacant and it is zoned as light industrial. The areas to the north you're typically going to see as light industrial as well, and to the east and to the west is also within Wilmer's ETJ, so typically you will not find zoning there. This request, preliminary plat, was approved by City Council actually on February 16th, and then the final was approved by Planning and Zoning on April 24th. Basically, the entire purpose of this final plat is to create one lot record from the 4 unplatted tracts of land in order to dedicate right-of-way and easements. This property is also stream data center, so they are in the process of submitting a site plan, landscape plan, and everything to begin the development and the proper works for that as well. There will be dedication for the detention pond located on the southeast corner of this subject property, and this plat will also be dedicating about 1.89 acres of right-of-way along Sunrise Road. You will also find that this plat is dedicating a 20-foot water easement along the entire east side of the property. The subject property drains to the southwest and to the north of the parcel, and all drainage, detention, and utilities has been reviewed by our city engineer and has been approved and signed off on. If you have any questions, the applicant is here and I will be in the back for any further questions.
Do y'all have any questions?
Yes, I do. I'm just, this is so small. I was trying to look at this map. It comes up to the edge of Beltline Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think this is where I called Public Works about a month ago. Is the retention pond on this end next to Beltline Road?
So the detention pond is actually going to be closer to Sunrise Road.
Okay, way back over at the other
Yes, ma'am.
end of this property.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's not supposed to be 2, one on each end?
Yes, ma'am. That was a correction that I can clarify for you along with the acreage. There was some miscommunication with one of the planning staff members pulling from previous records that showed on one of their first submittals that they were proposing, but they have finalized that to 1 and it is only 1 detention pond. And I can go ahead and speak about the acreage too, because there was a misunderstanding with that in the Planning and Zoning Commission. The exact acreage of this.
Excuse me, is your mic on?
Is it? I'm so sorry. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay, yes ma'am. I just wanted to clarify that the exact acreage of this proposed plat is going to be 77 acres.
It seems like all of the drainage, water and everything coming from that, like I said, I called Public Works, the water department, to come out and check because there was a big black hose coming up out, it looked like a geyser, you know, water going out. And water stays in, it's steadily in that
Yes,
ditch
ma'am.
from, well, I know they're doing all their work and the groundwork and stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't know if you came out and checked it or if it was
Yes, ma'am.
Wayne, where
Yes,
all
ma'am.
that water was coming.
I came
And
out
we
and I
still have water that's coming down. It's at a slant. Water's going to come toward Wilmer. That's why I thought maybe they had another pond over here on this end.
Did you want to address where they're pumping? We've gotten several calls.
Yes, they're actually, it was actually a 6-inch pump pumping out of the detention pond because they were I believe doing some regrading. And that's what that was, they were pumping out their detention pond, but it was running down
Yeah.
our.
And it's still running toward Wilmer. I was up that way this morning, I
Were you?
mean, just
With the
glanced
rain.
over there. and
Yeah,
stuff.
with, yes, I would understand they would be pumping with the rain.
It goes down the drain to get to this. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's stormwater, so it's just pumping into the system.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, come back. Please, sir.
If I may, Mayor.
Loopy.
No, I don't need Loopy.
Okay.
He escaped the wrath twice tonight. Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Okay, I can't.
What?
Okay, just a second.
Are you still at the floor, Miss Law?
Oh, she was showing me something, and he's hollering over here, so
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Let's take care of business.
Okay, now what are you saying? Never mind, okay.
No.
Okay, that's all I have. I had a problem with
Okay,
the water.
Jeff.
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
down.
Jeff, please.
Now,
Did I understand you right, that there's a dedication of the detention pond?
Yes, sir. There is a dedication of this detention pond, which will be maintained solely by the property owner. That's one of the stipulations that y'all actually made sure to put on y'all's
So the
preliminary plat.
dedication is to the landowner and not the city?
Yes, sir. That is correct. The only public dedication you're going to see is that
Or the
right
right
of
of
way.
ways, the 20-foot?
Yes, sir.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
now,
Thank you, ma'am. May I get a motion?
Move to approve, Mayor.
I second.
I assume that it is administratively complete.
Yes.
Ms. Gunn, is it administratively, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were paying attention, my bad. Is it administratively complete?
Yes, sir. Everything.
There you go.
That's my motion, Mayor.
Okay. May I have a second?
I seconded it.
Thank you. Please vote.
Yes.
no,
Yes.
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 4-1, it passes.
Item 11, discuss and consider a recommendation to the city council for a preliminary plat, Wilmer-DAS 114 edition, located in the city of Wilmer, extraterritorial jurisdiction consisting of one lot on approximately 114.285 acres. The subject property is situated in the John Little Survey Abstract Number 768 and the Pierce W. Spencer Survey Abstract Number 1287. City of Wilmer, ETJ, Dallas County, Texas, and generally addressed as 1317 Sunrise Road, 417 Mason Road, and 303 Mason Road, case number PP-25-01.
Good evening, council members and mayor. So on July 15, 2021, the city of Wilmer and Dallas County entered an agreement identifying the governmental entity authorized to regulate subdivision plats and approve related permits in the ETJ of the city of Wilmer. Dallas County has determined it is desirable to allow the city of Wilmer and the county to serve as the entity authorized to accept plat applications, collect application fees for the county and the city in one lump sum amount, and provide one response to applicants indicating approval or denial of the plat application for the area within the city's ETJ. The property is located in Wilmer's extraterritorial jurisdiction and is currently Sorry, yes. Hi, I'm Crystal. I'm with Master Plan Consultants at 2201 Main Street, Dallas, Texas.
Thank you. All right, council, do you have any questions?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve. It's in the ETJ, it's administratively complete, and therefore I approve.
May I get a second?
A second.
Thank you both. Now, may I have a vote? Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Phyllis?
No.
Pardon me. Yes.
Yes.
4-1, it passes.
Executive session. In accordance with the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Chapter D, the City Council will now recess into executive session to discuss the following. A, pursuant to 551.087 of the Texas Government Code, to seek legal consultation with the city attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter, to wit, instead of agreement by and between the city and Project Echo.
Mayor, so
Yes.
EDC, Kristen couldn't get a quorum for EDC meeting, so we couldn't have it, so they couldn't take any action.
Okay.
So I don't know if we've got a plan to maybe schedule a special meeting for the EDC so they can hear the presentation and executive and then take some action. But we're not gonna be able to do anything until
they do.
something. So there's not really anything for us to do at this point on this item.
Just
So I'll
no
bring it
action?
back. Ma'am?
No action?
Right, then we'll bring it back.
Okay. Okay. And that does it. It is now 8:32, and we are adjourned.